Hello guys and welcome to Code with Vijay. My name is Vishwanathan, and this is the second part of the video that is build a serverless web application on AWS Cloud, part 2. If you haven't watched part 1, please go and watch that because this is a continuation of part 1. So if you are watching this part without the knowledge of part 1, then probably you don't understand the terminologies or whatever we did so far. So please go and watch part 1 first, okay? And if you have already watched part 1, then welcome to part 2 of the video. So a quick recap. So what we did on part 1 was we have created a full end-to-end website. Basically we have stored some data in DynamoDB, and we have hosted the website basically in a HTML in S3 bucket, okay? And we have created a Lambda function, and a Lambda function triggered by API gateway, and we have created a little front end that configured to call API gateway and to get data from DynamoDB. So that's what we have implemented in the first part. Okay, in this part what we are going to do is to post data. Basically we'll post first name, last name and email address. Okay, so we'll do exactly the same steps that we did on part 1, but instead of getting the data we are going to post the data. Okay, once we post the data, then we will test the get functionality again. So at this time we should be able to get the data that we have posted. Okay, so that is what we are going to do today. Okay, so as you guys are already aware about the different services that we used, and I hope you guys have already tried it on your own. Okay, so this session will be pretty fast because I'm not going to explain whatever we have discussed as the part of part 1. Okay, so yeah, let's jump into the AWS console and let us start build the API gateway first. Okay, so this is part 1 of the video, and again I'm repeating, please go and watch that if you haven't watched that, because this a complete continuation of that part. Okay, so yeah, please go and watch. Alright guys, so I have logged into my AWS console. So let us go to API gateway. Okay, so API gateway has loaded. You can see the API that we have created last time, that is get employee details by email. Although we started with employee details and finally we ended up with customer details. Somehow the name changed from employee details to customer details, but we are doing exactly the same thing to get first name, last name and email address. So just the name changed. So the next step is to create another API, that is to post data. Okay, so let us do that. Create API. So that's a new API, and the name is post customer details. Okay, and you can give a description as well. So create API, and as next thing to do is to create the resource. So create resource, and the resource name is, say, post customer details. Okay, and create resource, and the most important thing is enable API gateway CORS. Hope you guys already know that is cross origin resource sharing, that I've explained pretty detail in part 1. So enable CORS. Okay, and click on create resource. Okay, it has been created. Okay, next thing is we need to add a method. So let me do that. Actions, create method. Okay, and the method, the HTTP method we need here is post. Okay, so post, and the integration point. Okay, as we did in part 1, we are going to do a mock test. Basically instead of integrating to Lambda function at this point, let us create this API, and return a mock response, so that we'll get the API that we have created is working fine or not. And the response type is mock. Okay, and save it. Okay, then you can see this has been created, and let us do an integration response. Okay, maybe sample quick sample JSON response inside body mapping template application JSON, and say a simple string status code, say 200. Anyway, this is a mock response. Okay, and save it. Sorry, here, save it. So that has been saved. Now let us test this. Is it working fine or not? Okay, let us go to the method execution again and click on this test here, and we can see when we simply test it, we should be able to get the status code that we have configured. So we are getting that status code back. It means the API test is working fine. Okay, so next step is to deploy this API, and let us try from postman, and let us see are we getting the data back. Okay, so click on actions, and here deploy API, and the stage, create new stage, and the stage name is dev. You can give any name, depends on which stage you are in. Click on deploy. Okay, so we got this URL. So now next step is let us test this from postman. So I have opened postman. Let me copy the API URL, so this one, and let me paste it here, and the method name is post custom details. Okay, let me copy that as well, and come back here, and we need HTTP post, so select that one and send it. This time so we got the JSON, the mock JSON that we have configured in integration response body mapping template. So our API is working fine. Okay, now we need to integrate with Lambda function. Okay, so let us go and create a Lambda function now. So I'm in AWS console again. Let us search for Lambda. There you go. Alright, so Lambda console has been loaded, and as you know, we have to create a blank function. Click on create function and click on author from scratch. Okay, and function name is, let us say, save customer details. Okay, and okay, so this time we have to create, if you remember last time we have to create a role, and that role only had DynamoDB read-only access, but as a part of now we are posting data, because of that read-only access will not work. So we have to create another role that have access to DynamoDB write operation. Okay, so let us go to IAM and create a new role which has permission to DynamoDB write operation. Okay, let us do that now. So let us go to IAM and click on roles, and we need to create a new role and click on create role. Okay, and we need access to we need role for Lambda. Click on Lambda. Okay, and next is permissions, and there we need permission to write to S3. Okay, S3 full access. Okay, also we need Lambda full access because we are doing a Lambda operation. Okay, so let me give Lambda full access. Okay, next review. Okay, so this particular role has Lambda full access and S3. Okay, we don't need S3 full access actually, so let me go back and change to S3 write only access. So you can see here S3 read only, and let us search for Amazon S3. Okay, I can see a role for S3 write only access. Okay, or we can create another role for that, but probably to make it easy, let me make it S3 full access. Okay, so click on next, and the role name is post customer details. Okay, and optionally you can give a description as well, but to give the description is always a good practice. But as we are doing a simple demonstration, I'm not going to give any description now. So let me create a role. Okay, now the role has been created. Okay, now when we come back here, okay, let me refresh this. Okay, and the function name is save customer details. Okay, and let us see that role is there or not. We can see post customer details, that role has been created, and I have selected that. Okay, and next is create function. So that will create a blank function for us. Now let us do the relevant code which is required to connect to DynamoDB. So as you know, the first step to do is to include AWS SDK. So let us do that. Where AWS equal to okay, now we have added AWS SDK, and the next step is to update the config. Config.update. Okay, and in that the region, and we need to get the region. I'll add that later after complete the remaining code. Okay, next we have to create the document client to connect to DynamoDB. So where doc client equal to new AWS dot DynamoDB dot document client. So now we have created the document client, and the next step is to put items to DynamoDB. So for that we need to mention the table name, and we need to specify the parameters that we are passing. So in our case, we are going to pass first name, last name, and email address. And email address will be the primary key. So hope if you remember that when we created the table last time, we have specified email ID as the primary key, and we had first name and last name. So we are going to pass all three from here. Okay, so let me delete this, we don't need this now. And the next thing to do is to mention the table name. So I'll copy table name after the completion of this code. Okay. And we need to specify the params. So in that params, the first parameter will be table name. Okay, so table name, and that table name is the one we have assigned here. So table name. Okay, and next one is items we need to pass basically. So there'll be a JSON string. Okay, and we need to pass email ID. If I'm correct, the column name is email ID, and the casing even matters. So let us double check after we complete the code. Let us go and double check everything, include the table name, the region, and the parameters, casing, and everything. So that would be the data that we are passing. It means in event we'll have all these records. So event dot email ID, then we need first name, again that would be event dot first name, then we'll have last name, that will be event dot last name. So our params is ready, so we are passing table name and the items we need to update, so that is ready now. And the next thing to do is to put data using document client. Okay, so let us do that. Doc client dot put, and we need to pass the params, okay, and the callback. The first parameter of callback will be error, if any error happened, and second will be the data. Okay. And if any error happened, then we need to write a log, maybe say console.log, or apparently we can call back that error. Okay, say callback error. Okay, and if no error, then we need another message here. Okay, say successfully updated, something like that. Okay, callback. First parameter is for error, and second parameter say successfully updated data. And if you want, we can return the data that we have submitted as well, like json.stringify. That will be the data. It's a typo error here, stringify and data. Okay, so these are option parameters. I mean, the first one will be the data, so this actually will return the data that we are passing. So, or if you just want an intimation that data has been successfully updated, we don't need this anyway. So okay, let us keep that as simple. So now everything is ready. Okay, and let us test this. Okay, save and test. We need to create a before that we need to update region params and everything, so let us go and do that now. And once we update everything, let us test it here. Okay, and basically we'll pass a sample JSON, and when we test it, and if the test succeeds, then we should be able to see the data that we have passing through this test event. Okay, so before that, let me go and copy the table names, and let me double check the parameters and everything. Okay, so let us go and do that now. So I'm in AWS console again. Let me go and check for DynamoDB, and when we go inside, we should be able to see the table that we have created as the part of part 1. Click on tables. You can see here customer details, so that's a table name. Let me copy that. Let me come back here, and the table name is customer details. In fact, we don't need this config update for the region, because if you are writing code inside Lambda console, we don't need this. This is not mandatory. Okay, so we have copied customer details, that's the table name, and we need to check these field names, okay, including the casing of that one. So let me go to items. Okay, there we can see email ID. Okay, that is correct. Email ID, I is caps and D is caps, and first name and last name. So all these parameters is correct. Okay, the next step to do is test this by passing mock email address, first name and last name. Okay, so let us do that next. So click on save and test. Okay, here we need to configure a test event. Okay, see post test, and the first parameter is email ID, Okay, and the value is test post at testpost.com. okay, and the first name is test and last name is post. Okay, so we have to create this test event. Okay, and let us test this. Okay, so we can see here successfully updated data. Okay, it means when we go to DynamoDB and when we look for this data, we should be able to see this data in DynamoDB. Okay, so let us go and check that. Let me refresh here. You can see here that has been updated. Okay, so the data is email ID is testpost@testpost.com and first name is test and last name is post. It means the Lambda function that we have created is working perfectly fine, and the next step to do is to integrate this Lambda with API gateway. Okay, basically with the API that we have created. Okay, let us go and do that next. So I'm in API gateway console now. As the first step, let us remove the integration response that we have added as the part of mock response, because we don't need mock response anymore as we are going to integrate with Lambda function. Okay, so let us remove that. Body mapping template, application JSON, and delete this. We don't need that. Okay, save it, and here in integration request, let us change that to Lambda function. Okay, and we have to select Lambda region. The place that we have hosted Lambda function is US East 1. So let us go to US East 1. Okay, and the method we have created was save customer details. So select that and click on save. Okay, so we got a message, are you sure you want to switch to Lambda integration? Yes, I want to. Click OK. Okay, and this is the ARN created, basically the ARN of the Lambda function, and it is telling that you're about to give API gateway permission to invoke your Lambda function. Yes, we need that. Click on OK. Okay, now it will take a couple of seconds, and you can see that has been successful. Now we need to we need to deploy this API. Okay, so let us do that. Okay, to make sure that we have enabled course or not, it will be worth to do again. Click on enable course and click on enable course. We have already enabled before, but we are making sure that we did it before. So we have enabled course once again, and click on action and click on deploy API. So for any change you make, please don't forget to deploy the API and deploy. So now it has been deployed. This time when we test it from Postman, basically with this API, we should be able to see the data that we are passing from Postman should reflect in DynamoDB. Okay, so let us go and check that now. Alright guys, so I'm in Postman now. Let me paste the URL here, and we need post. So let us grab the test data that we have created to test the Lambda function. So let me go to Lambda and let me copy this piece of data. Okay, and in the body, and I need raw data and JSON. Paste it here, and let us modify this to say postman at postman.com, and first name is say postman and last name is say rest client. Okay, so when we send this request, we should be able to see a message that successfully updated data, because that's a message that we have hard coded in Lambda function if the data submission is a success. Okay, so let me click on send button. Okay, so there you go. Now we can see we got the message back that is successfully updated data. It means when we go and check in DynamoDB for this email ID postman@postman.com, we should be able to see this record. Okay, let me go to DynamoDB and refresh. So there you go, we can see that data has been updated successfully, and the email ID is postman@postman.com, and first name is postman and last name is Rest client. So it means we are ready with two components, that is API gateway and Lambda function, and the integration of both is working fine. Okay, so the next step to do is to create a little HTML, basically the front end. There we need 3 text boxes for email ID, first name and last name. Okay, and we need to host that HTML to S3 bucket. Okay, and we'll call this API from that HTML. Okay, then we load the front end in a browser, and we will test that from that front end. Okay, we'll enter first name, last name and email ID in those text boxes. Okay, once we updated, we should be able to see that data in DynamoDB, and we'll come back to the get front end, and we'll try the data that we have saved through post, and we should check are we getting that data back through get operation. So that's a pending item, so let's go and do that now. All right guys, so our front end is ready. So basically we are using no-code.js to bind our data. So you can see here we have these many properties for email ID, first name, last name, and this property is to display the success message, basically the message that we are returning from Lambda when our data updated successfully. And you can see here we are passing this object to here to JSON, and here we need to update the URL, and you can see we have 3 input text boxes for email ID, first name and last name, and we have binded corresponding properties to each of these text boxes. And when I click on save button, it will call this method save customer details, and there we are passing the data that we have populated in corresponding text boxes, and it will update the data to DynamoDB. Basically it will call API gateway, and API gateway will trigger Lambda function, and Lambda function in turn call DynamoDB. So let me update URL here. Let me copy it from postman. Let me copy it, and we'll come back here, and let me update that URL here. So now we are all ready to host this to S3 bucket. So next step is to create an S3 bucket and upload these files along with the jQuery and no-code.js file that we have referred here. So we'll upload all that files to an S3 bucket. Okay, let us do that next. So I'm in AWS console again. The first thing to do is to create a bucket in S3. Let's search for S3, and let's go and create a bucket here, and the bucket name is say code with Vijay, save customer, and the region is North Virginia. You can give your region accordingly. Click on next, click on next, and create bucket. So as we are going to host a website inside this bucket, we need this bucket to be publicly accessible, basically read-only permission to this bucket for all the files that we are going to upload this bucket. Okay, either we can do in 2 different ways. Either we can give object level permission. It means after uploading each of that files, go and give permission to each of that file, or we can give bucket level permission. It means if I allow public allow read-only permission to that bucket, then what are the files that I'm uploading to that bucket will have that permission. So it's a good idea to give bucket level permission for for the bucket which we are using for static website hosting. The reason because all the files should be publicly accessible, as that's a website. So let me go and give permission to this bucket. So we can see that bucket has been created here. Okay, and let's go to permissions. Okay, we can see here bucket policy. If you guys remember last part of the video, we have already created a bucket policy which I have copied here. So let me copy that from here to here, and the only thing will change is this bucket name, basically this ARN. Let me copy that and paste it here. So that's it. So it means basically, action is S3 get object and principal means star. It means that's anonymous access. Everybody can read file from this object, and the resource name is this bucket /star means all files inside that bucket. Okay, that's the meaning of this policy. So let me save it. Okay, now we'll get a message this public has bucket has public access. Okay, it means everybody can read data from this bucket. Okay, that is what we want. So let me go back to the bucket, sorry, here, and basically we are going to upload the files that we have created, basically the HTML file, index.html and nocode.js and jQuery.js. Okay, click on upload, add files, and these are the files. Open it. Okay, next, and upload. Okay, so all files has been uploaded. Okay, and next thing to do is we have to enable static website hosting to this bucket. Okay, so click on properties here and click on static website hosting and use this bucket to host a website. Okay, that's what we want. Let me copy this URL. This will be our URL to show the front end, and launching pages index.html. Okay, we don't have an error document or error HTML. Because of that, I'm going to give index.html as error HTML as well, because if any error happened anyway, we are returning an error message from Lambda to here. So in real time, basically you need a error HTML. Okay, so if any error happened, it will redirect to that HTML. Okay, and click on save. Okay, now static website hosting is enabled. It means when we go and paste that URL in the browser, we should be able to see the front end. Okay, and when we save data from that front end, we should be able to see the data is updating in DynamoDB. Okay, so let us go and check that. So let me open another tab, and I've pasted that URL here. Okay, so there you go. We can see the front end that we have created. So let me try to save some data. Okay, so email ID is S3 bucket at s3 bucket.com, and first name is say AWS and last name is say S3 bucket. Okay, so when I click on save, I should be able to see a message that data has been updated successfully. There you go. So this message, if you remember that this is the message we have configured in Lambda function, when our data updates successfully. So that data has been updated. Okay, now let us go and check for that data in DynamoDB. And when I refresh here, there you go. You can see this data here. So the email ID is s3bucket at s3bucket.com, then first name and last name. So it means the data that we have saved successfully updated in DynamoDB through API gateway, through Lambda function, and from Lambda function to DynamoDB. Okay, so that is fine. So let us check next. If you are we getting this data back when we are using the get website that we have created in last session. Okay, so let us go and check that. So let me paste that URL here, and we can see this is the front end that we have created in part 1 of the video. So let me copy paste this email ID to the search key, that is email ID, and when I click on get customer details, I should be able to get that data which we have stored now. There you go. So you can see first name is AWS and last name S3 bucket, and the email ID is s3bucket@s3bucket.com. So it means the complete functionality is working fine. We have successfully created a complete totally 100% serverless web application. So we have created basically saving data and getting data from the DynamoDB, but we haven't hosted anything. It means basically we haven't used any server to host anything. We don't have a database server, or we don't have a web server to run the code, okay, and we don't have a server to host the API or anything. So we have created everything without server, or we did not spend any time to set up any infrastructure, okay. So that's the beauty of serverless computing. Concentrate on what you're doing, and it's pretty fast to move things to production, and we don't need to spend weeks and months to procure server, or we don't have to spend money to buy server, or if any load comes up, we don't need to spend money to add additional server and all those things, because focus on the code, and focus on the quality of code, improve the quality of code, give give more user experience, and focus on all that kind of thing. Remaining everything will take care by your cloud provider, like auto scaling and load balancing, and all those things will take care by your cloud provider, okay. So it's pretty very nice concept, and serverless is getting more and more hotter to the market, and in near future you can see many organizations will definitely move to serverless computing, and basically can leverage the beauty of serverless computing. So try everything on your own, and if you are stuck with anything, please feel free to contact me. You can comment me to in the comment section, or you can mail me, and feel free for that. So that's pretty much, guys. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope you have gained an amazing concept of serverless computing, and mostly at this stage I really hope that you're in the position to create a static website completely serverless. So thanks for watching, guys, and the most important thing is, please don't forget to subscribe my channel so that you will get notification whenever I upload new videos. Thank you.